This is the Promise to Succeed podcast. I am Roberto Williams, and this is the podcast where we get real stories from real estate agents, right? And we break down their stories into clear steps so that you can use it to get more listings, more appointments, and close more properties. So today, we have a wonderful guest by the name of Mark Brown. Mark Brown has 11 years of real estate experience under his belt, and Mark is actually with the Better Homes and Gardens Realty Group, right? So we're gonna have an exciting session with Mark. He's gonna share some of the real estate secrets and also some of the tips and tricks, and also showcase some exciting properties and stuff to go along. All right. So yes, Mark, welcome. How are you doing today, man?
Okay, great, Roberto. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
The pleasure is all mine. I love to have these sessions because I learn so much, and the viewers also learn so much from you guys, so it's really amazing and wonderful to have you on. All right. So I just have a couple of questions for you, and I always like to start with the story, right? How did you actually get into real estate? How did you become a real estate agent?
Okay, a fellow Realtor actually recommended me. I actually was in a property that was being sold. I was the accountant there. I do a lot of freelance accounting.
Right.
So a colleague of mine, Cheryl Lynch, she and I were freelancing at a particular guest house. And it happened that property eventually went on the market. And
Right.
the agent, Christine Klein at the time, she's no longer in Jamaica. But Christine, she was in Century 21 at the time. We met and we were going through the processes, and she was kind of explaining some stuff to me because I was there basically. She came there and we were discussing several things. And because I was aware of some of the in transferring property and doing all that,
Yes.
she kind of recommended, say, you know what, you know a lot about this stuff. And I said, why not try this? I looked at, it's how the real estate was set up. I said, I think I'll enjoy it. And I have enjoyed it.
Right. I can see.
Yeah, the property then was a property in Negril that went on the market for 1.7 million US. I can't remember what price it was actually sold for. And when I looked at the commission, I looked at other things, I said, this is something I could do and I could enjoy aside from the commission, but the commission as well. And I said, let me try it. And I did the real estate course. The real estate course at the time, it was at UTech, the faculty of the built environment. You had to go to UTech, do the course there. Did the course, was successful, and since then I've been in real estate and I've been enjoying it.
Well, that's an amazing story, man. So basically, you got a chance to dip your toes in the water, and you saw that it's something that you would love.
True, yeah.
Just from That's
just from the very start, and I enjoyed it. I have been enjoying it. Yes.
Awesome. So what was your first year in real estate like?
The first year was more really about learning as much as I could. Really putting myself out there, really just not even focusing on really getting commissions as such, but really learning as much about the market as I can, learning about as much about real estate as I can.
Right.
Offering a service to persons, knowing the persons and making that connections with the individuals, the prospective clients.
Yes.
And really just putting myself out there and just gathering and just being a sponge for the information and learning as much as I can. So that was the first year. It was good. It was good. Experience.
Awesome.
I would describe my first year as being.
Awesome. Much appreciated on that, Mark. Really appreciate. So what would you say would have been the best part of real estate, and then what would be the most frustrating part? So it's a two-part question.
It was always a good feeling having done the work to actually get your commission, but for me, the most fulfilling part would really be just, those relationships that you get when you meet persons and actually, that type of connection that you have with other persons from diverse backgrounds and just yeah. So that for me is the best part of the real estate journey.
Exactly.
The most frustrating part would probably be, I guess, if when you're really making an effort and things fall through for whatever reason. I mean, you're really making an effort, whether it's to get those prospects in, whether you're trying to market or whether you actually have gotten those prospects in and then maybe a deal fell through. That would be the most frustrating part. Yes.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Or probably the most I would say is because I did have twice I had an experience where the deal, well, the deal fell through at the very last
Yes.
minute. So that was kind of very
Okay, so you
frustrating.
build up all of that and then the deal falls through.
And at
That's
the very
frustrating.
last second, yeah, that
Yeah.
was probably the most frustrating
Like
thing. Yeah.
offer, you mean the offer came in and everything?
Offer came in, like everything accepted, and then eventually, for whatever reasons, it just kind of fell through. And one other frustrating thing, I think
Yes.
I'd probably say is that I've had a couple experiences when you actually make arrangements for viewing. You actually
Right.
call before, because I always call before to confirm that the viewings, the persons are there for the viewings. And then when
Right.
you go to the viewings, the person is absent without any
Yeah. Any reason.
plausible reason. So yeah,
Right.
that's a little bit frustrating too. Although it doesn't really happen often, but
Right.
that is a little bit frustrating as well.
Right.
All right, so I hope that
So
answers the question.
yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Much appreciated on that, Mark. So what I want to know now, seeing that you have 11 years under your belt, that's quite a lot of experience, quite a bit of experience, right? Do like, getting your leads, getting your listings and stuff, or what's your routine on that?
Well, all right. So no, I'd probably say I don't have a set routine. When I just went in, I actually did. Well, I should, but no, but actually, to be honest, a little bit lax. But normally, my routine would be, for example, well, I used to do, certainly when I went into real estate, I do a lot of cold calls. I
Right.
really don't do so many of those now, but I did
Okay.
a significant amount, because that's part of the learning process.
Right. Right.
One of the other things I used to do as part of my routine is you buy the Sunday paper, so you pull out the classifieds within the Sunday paper. So every Monday morning it would be like real
Right.
estate, because I do other things.
Right.
It basically Mondays would be my real estate days,
Right.
and part of the routine would be basically one, to cold call those
Mm.
possible, those prospects that I see in
Right.
the paper, and try to make that connection there. Another routine. Well, I guess those would be probably the most basic routines that I have. The
Right.
cold calls one, and to basically set aside a particular day for a particular thing. In which in this case it was actually cold calling. So yes, that would be for the most part my routine. Nowadays it's a little bit more. I said I do a lot of freelance accounting as well, so
Right.
I kind
It's
of
a
like
between a
no,
balance
I can,
between the
yeah,
two. Right.
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 So I kind of so I
Fully
don't have a
understand.
specific routine at the moment.
Right. I fully understand. So in terms of what about your follow-up system? Is there a specific follow-up system that you follow to, say for instance, you get a lead that comes in? Is there a specific follow-up system that you use to reach out to these persons?
All right. So yes, once a lead comes in and I reach out, and I try to, a lead may come in asking for a specific property, I would
Right.
deal with that. If it is
Right.
that for whatever reason that's not available, then I would always, at every single time, I always try to give my prospects an option, an alternative. So they may
Right.
call about us, or they may reach out, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
via phone or via email, about a
Right.
specific property.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to give them alternatives as well. And always, one, reach out, try to get as much information as to what specifically that prospect wants or is looking for, which kind of guides you as to how to actually help them in terms of getting them what they actually are looking for. So you reach out and then you respond to them, and then if, if they don't respond in a meaningful time,
Timely manner.
I mean
Right.
that time frame depends. It could be it
Right.
could be a day, a couple of days, or a week.
Right.
Then you follow up by reaching out again to them
Exactly.
via whichever medium, whether that's via a phone call, whether that's via email, and just trying to find out, asking for their feedback on
Right.
whatever you may have presented to them. So
Mm.
that's basically how I do my follow up. I reach out, and then having
Right.
responded, I go back to them as to any
Which
follow
makes
up
sense.
questions.
That makes sense. Yeah, definitely. All right. So let's touch on sort of some of the philosophies that you have, Mark. So in terms of the dream client, what would you say? What would you classify as your dream client? Yes.
To be honest, I don't really have a dream client. You mentioned philosophy at the start of
Yes.
the question. I think one of the things I've always said to myself is that, listen, here's what it is. This is more about providing a service more than just the commission.
Right.
If, for example, two prospects are in front of me, and one of them is for, let's say they're looking at two properties. One is for $1 million, and one is for $1 million Jamaican.
Right.
And say that's a significant commission difference. If you make either deal go through, I'm not
Right.
gonna give the one that's $1 million more a better service
Right.
than the other one, than the one for
Exactly.
$1 million Jamaican. For me, it's
Exactly.
you're providing a service. You're not looking at individual, because you may get, at the end of the day, you may get a higher commission, but you actually
Exactly.
just provide a service for the person. That's really, so that I would say would be my philosophy, if you want to call it that.
Definitely. And do you believe that clients purchase the property or do they buy the agent? What's your philosophy on that?
Well, it would have to be the property, because at
Yes.
the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how much you like the agent. If you're looking at two similar properties with two different agents, then you're gonna you're gonna choose the agent that you like more. But if you're talking about a property that's an agent that you don't like has or is
Right.
putting forward to you, and then you have another property that that you don't like, but you like the
Right.
agent, you're just gonna
Right.
choose a property. It's a decision. Real estate is like, it's a major life decision. It's not like,
Yes,
a
it
small,
is.
it's a
It
major
is.
life decision. So you
It is.
can make that decision based on the personality of the agent that you're working
Right.
with. I said, unless it's a similar type property. Once it comes to that, if it's a property or an agent, I think 99.9 times out of 100 is gonna be, what the property you're looking for. The
Exactly.
property the
Exactly.
individual is gonna looking for.
Yes. Much appreciated on that. Much appreciated on that, Mark. And
No problem.
my final question for you for the day, I want you to tell me, let's look at legacy now and like impact, right? What's the one thing that needs to happen for you this year for you to feel like you have won for the year? Yes.
Wow. Again, it would be always easy to say, listen, a big commission, because that's always
Right.
the easy answer,
Right.
You score a big commission, then you've won. That would be partly true. But I'd
Mhm.
also like to think that, because you mentioned legacy, I'd also like to think that I would have been involved in a transaction that satisfied both the buyer and the seller, that everybody came away smiling. And I
Right.
want all my transactions, all my dealings, all my real estate dealings, whether they're leases, whether they're sales,
Right.
to really satisfy all the parties involved, and all, everybody comes away smiling.
That's powerful.
And to say also that the deal was handled in a competent way, and it was
Right.
handled professionally, and it was handled in a way that, I can always recommend this person to someone else.
Right. That's
So,
powerful.
yeah, that's what I would want.
And just a segue
Great.
to that, Mark, what does success look like for you? Not just financially, but personally. What does success look like for you?
Oh, success. As I said, you mentioned financially. Financial is good, but I've come to learn that, money can, there's far more to life than money.
Right.
There's that inner happiness that you have to have, and in all things, you have to, worship the Father, and
Most
put
definitely.
everything in front of Him.
Yes.
So yeah, it has to be with far more than money. It has to be with true happiness and really fulfilling your purpose on this earth.
Right. Wonderful. That was
Yeah.
quite an exciting session, Mark. Very interesting answers. I really appreciate your answers. I know it takes a lot to, sometimes come on the camera and stuff. So I really
Okay.
appreciate the answers that you've given, really good answers, and I can see your experience showing through in your answers. So now,
Thank you.
for the viewers who want to connect with you, right? Ones that want to reach out to you, whether by phone, email, or, any way that you
All right.
you want them, what are your contacts for them to reach out to you?
Okay, my phone number is 876-887-1987. My email is mbrown, mbrown@bhgjamaica.com. All right, so those are my
Okay.
contact details. I'm experienced, I'm competent, I enjoy doing real estate. So once you're interested in the Jamaican real estate market, you can give me a call. All right,
Definitely.
they can reach out to me.
Yes.
Right,
So
great.
thank you so much for that, Mark. And just from the overall conversation, I can see that, you truly care about your people. who you work with. So if you want to reach out to Mark, the contact details are on the screen now. And you can always reach out to him. He will take care of you. Now, if you are a real estate agent, right, and you want to market your services, you want to generate more leads, you want to generate more listings, and you want to get more sales, then you can go ahead and actually book a meeting with us at PTS Marketing Agency to go ahead and generate leads for you while you sleep. And to book that meeting, you need to go to meetings.hubspot, which is hubspot.com/PTS/real estate, right? And that information is actually on the screen right now. So you can go ahead and book a meeting with us directly. If you want to see our free resources, you can go to ptsmarketingagency.com, and we have, some free resources, and you can also check out to see the services that we offer. All right. So thank you so much for joining us at the Promise to Succeed podcast today with our amazing guest, Mark Brown. It has been really a pleasure today, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Roberto. Anytime.
We will go ahead and have another episode ready for you guys next week, same time, same place. So go ahead and check us out. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music. Have a wonderful day.